post a link.
Yeah.
Hang
Welcome
on.
to the TuracoCreativeCast. I am Captain Goggles, aka Frank Salazar, and I have a special guest today, Comics with Chris. And we also have not Anna. We have Shy Guy today filling in for Anna. Anna couldn't be here today. She has other engagements to take care of, but she'll
She's
be
too good
back
for us.
next week.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be talking comics, webtoons, and other cool stuff with Chris Martinez here.
Oh,
So Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
yeah, I'm pretty much a self-taught artist. I've been on YouTube for like roughly 4 to 5 years, and
Oh wow.
I've kind of yeah, I've been off and on in the past 2 years, but I won't go into too much detail, but I got really sick. I had cancer, but I got
Oh,
better. I've been
well,
in
that's good.
remission. Yeah, yeah, I've been in remission for the past 6 months, and I'm back into making videos and comics again. But my goal has always been to create comics, and more recently, I've kind of found um, I got back in touch with a passion and love for making comics, and I'm I've finished a script for my original character, and it's a comic called Warrior of the Dead that I'm working on for webtoons. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, so basically, I'm sharing the process on my YouTube channel right now, and I'm working on the comic as I go. I should be done with a couple of webtoon episodes, which you can read for free online on webtoons. And I should be done with that either late this month, late June, or maybe early July. Either way, I'll be done, and I'll have some comic stuff to put up to the world, and everybody can check it out.
Oh cool.
Let's see. Is there a link to
And
that to your webtoon up down on the
Uh,
links below?
no,
no, not yet. I'm
No.
not
Okay.
yet.
no,
Yeah, I'm
there
still
is
I'm
a link tree there, and in that link tree there is a Patreon for Chris, and so you can have early access when he does put out his stuff. You can see it
Oh,
first
okay,
on
cool.
Patreon.
Yeah, I've actually already posted like some sketches, some turnarounds. I got some more
Hmm.
content to kind of put on there. I kind of want to play with it for now on Patreon on the type of stuff that I'm going to be showing. Like I'm gonna be adding like a whole bunch more tiers and stuff to kind of figure out what works and what doesn't. Because I think
Hmm.
that's kind of how it goes with these things, right? Like, you make merch and see if it sells or not. If anyone's interested,
Yeah,
you make comics, tell stories, and see who's interested or not. Whether it's all a learning process, in my opinion, or at least that's my approach whenever I make comics or content, anything to sell, or however you're trying to learn and grow as an artist or
yeah,
comic artist.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of a feedback, a relationship in some ways between you and the
yeah, yeah.
audience. You're giving, you're putting stuff out there that you like, and you got to figure out, what people respond to, and make
Yeah,
some
yeah.
Yeah.
some progress that way. And what's the name of your webcomic called again?
Oh, it's called Warrior of the Dead.
Warrior of the Dead. So, what is Warrior
And
of the Dead about?
Well, Warrior of the
Oh,
Dead.
sorry, I stole Frank's question. I can tell. Sorry, Frank. I got
yeah.
interested.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Warrior of the
all,
Dead.
all this stuff I'm gonna ask Dale. So
Oh,
no, go ahead.
Yeah. So Warrior of
I'll
the
just
Dead
sit
is.
back.
I'll give you. I like to think of it like this because it's probably the most easiest way to explain it. I like to think of it as a cross between Thor and Ghost Rider, like a supernatural comic based in mythology, but not like Norse gods or anything like that. More like Aztec mythology.
Hmm.
And now my voice is cracking. I hate when that happens. That when I start talking a lot, I don't know why my voice starts cracking. Um, anyway, so basically, this school teacher, he's a Latino, and one of my goals is to create a Latino superhero, and this is sort of a supernatural anti-hero supernatural comic. So basically, I won't give away too much of the story, but he gets these powers. He's an everyday normal teacher. He's an ex-military veteran.
Cool.
And he's at a museum, and you know, a bunch of crazy stuff happens. He finds this Aztec sword, and the kind that they used a long time ago. The Aztec warriors had these swords with obsidian stone on the edges of it, and they used that in their wars. I can't pronounce the name of the sword. It starts with an M, but they're like really cool. So I just made a very comic book version of it that's like really big. And well, he grabs this sword and he gets like these supernatural powers, and you know, the whole story kind of starts from there.
Cool.
But you'll have to check it out on Webtoons probably late this month or early July. But that's kind of what the comic's about. And he's got this wicked. You know, I could probably share like a quick screenshot. I don't know if you guys can do that on.
You can try. I'm not sure. I couldn't before, but I think there was another because I do this from my phone. But I think you can try, and I can check it.
Let me see.
Oh, let me see.
I can probably give you a quick look if we can. I don't know if we'll be able to do it, but I'll give you a quick look. Let me see. I know there's like a share screen or something. Let's see. I'm gonna lower this.
I should have taken a screenshot and just shown my computer. Well, on the thumbnail, there is an illustration of your character, and I got that from your Instagram. Okay,
Oh, here you go.
See it?
I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. There it goes. Maybe that's a little bit easier.
Oh, hey, there we go.
There we go.
Can you get it?
Show screens now. Cool.
Yes. Yeah, I can show screens. Share screen now. Cool.
Cool.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
We're professional now.
Yeah, man. And I'll show you the sword so you guys can get an idea of what I was talking about.
Cool.
I'm actually
that's
pretty proud
cool
of the sword.
looking.
Yeah. And Clip Studio is really cool because like I made this into like a material. So basically all I have to do is copy and paste it in certain panels. And I don't have to redraw this detailed ass sword every single time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah. I mean that's a pretty cool thing. So
All right.
I guess I'm gonna
Let
come
me
back
stop
to this.
sharing.
Oops.
Whoop.
Stop sharing.
That's a cool sword. I didn't realize that they used obsidian. I know they had. I've seen like pictures of where it's kind of like a club with a handle, and then it has like teeth coming out of it.
Yeah, they're little like pieces of I hope I'm saying obsidian and using that correctly. I'm sure somebody will if I'm wrong, somebody will probably say it in the comments. But it's like stone.
It's not obsidian.
How dare you? It's not obsidian. You're wrong. You need to get your facts straight, nerd. No, yeah, I know. I thought I've got a few notes on Aztec mythology. It's there's a lot of different supernatural things going on, and I just feel like in mainstream comics there weren't enough stories on Aztecs and Latin culture that I think we can. I mean, there's some out there. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I wanted a really strong, popular like Aztec Latino character that's just kind of cool and interesting, and you know, this is just my character that I really wanted to put out there in the world. And don't get me wrong too. I mean, I think a lot of people can enjoy it. You don't have to be Latino to be like, oh, that's cool. This guy has these cool superpowers with the sword. I mean, hell, I like Thor. Shit, Thor's not Mexican. I like Thor.
Yeah.
So what's this Latino you keep saying?
Latino, Mexicano.
Yeah, like you're saying, like in the mainstream, there's not like a lot of like Hispanic or Latino characters that unless it's like there's some. I'm sure there's some, but like unless it's like a side character, but like I haven't seen that many where it's their own story, and I only recently started like finding out more stuff because they're here in my area, and you might have heard heard of this guy, Richard Dominguez. It started years ago. He did a character called El Gato Negro. And when I was going to high school, he had put out that book for the first time, and it was in my area, so it made the news because it was kind of rare, and it was newsworthy that someone from here, the Rio Grande Valley, made a comic and put it out, published it. So.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
So I had heard of that, and I heard it was I think I saw something in the newspaper that was black and white, and right away I lost interest because no, I like color.
See, we were talking about colorists earlier. That's why you need a colorist. So
but,
attention.
But now, since I started doing it, and I wanted to look back at that, the guy just put it out on Amazon, the first 4 issues in a collected edition, and it's going to be a TV show, so it serves as a cross promotion for the show.
Oh wow. So yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about making comics, whether you do digital or you're making like whole books in print.
I have it here.
You know, I've heard of that. I've heard of El Gato Negro, but I don't think it's been a long time, and it's dang. I know I've heard of that.
I heard of it, but I never picked it up until recently, and I just got it the other day. I haven't read it all. I just started reading it, and it looks interesting. So.
Yeah, and that's really cool. I think that's one of the coolest things. I think I think right now a lot of people that are making movies and animated series, they're really looking for stories. Like the Hollywood doesn't even the movie makers and things like that. They're not looking for writers to make movies. They're looking towards comics to tell stories that are already popular, that already have fans with a built-in fan base, because of like the Marvel movies, like Avengers, and the even the some people think some of the DC movies are really bad, but I mean they still make millions of dollars. So like movie studios, I mean The Walking Dead was a hugely popular series on TV, and that was printed through Image Comics by Robert Kirkman.
That was Image.
I don't know if y'all seen. They even made an animated series of Robert Kirkman's other story, Invincible.
Oh yeah, that just came out recently. Yeah,
that is so good, man. I've just recently caught up with it like a couple days ago, and I was like, God damn, it's some vicious animated stuff, man. Like they're beating the crap out of each other. It's like it's superheroes, but it's like ultra violent. I was like, God. I never read the comics, so I didn't know too much about what it was about, and then it kind of hooked me because it was Robert Kirkman, and when I read the stuff that Robert Kirkman does, like that, him as a writer himself, it's like, man, he must go to some like dark places to create these storylines of these people just going through that crap beat out of them, like. Through every storyline, through every arc, his characters are dying, they're suffering, loved ones are getting killed, and like the world, people are getting betrayed, and it's just like, but the thing is though, I mean, he's a good storyteller, and that makes for great stories. Like, you want to see someone, kind of come out, with some type of win going through all these obstacles, and that goes to the that I'm leading into the see, now I'm talking a lot, so my voice is cracking. I'm leading into the way that people tell stories in general, and they call it the hero's journey. It's a very like a very commonly used plot device in storytelling, and it's like, you have a character that doesn't really want to be the hero, but then there's a call to action, and for whatever reason they take the call to action to adventure or whatever, whether it's revenge, to save somebody or whatever. And then they have all these obstacles. They overcome the obstacles. Then they realize, that they've achieved whatever they wanted to achieve. But like great storytellers can add some really, really great like plot twists and things like that. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's like a really cool way to tell stories when you add that kind of stuff. And I'm still kind of working. I've been so focused for years on just the art that I haven't
Sure.
really, dug deep into the storytelling aspect. And only
Yes.
till recently, I've been kind of really thinking a lot about this stuff. So
Yeah, same here. Like I usually just do the art or think of a cool character and like, oh, this will be cool if he did this or he did that or what can I have them do now? Okay, and I just go from illustration to illustration, and I'm like, I really need to do a script. Like I really need to like write something down so I can have something to look. Okay, what was it like? Okay, yeah, I can go back and
Yeah.
reference and
I've decided I write full script now, and so when I'm making a comic, I will write out the full script, pages and panels and dialogue and captions and sound effects and everything, and get that all completely worked out, and then I'll move on to the thumbnails and stuff. It's not the Marvel method where you kind of you come up with the concept and then you draw it and then add the dialogue later, but I find I work better from full script personally.
yeah, I used to be interested in the way the Marvel way, but now like I was
yeah.
like, I don't know, for me, for webtoons, it's the way I'm kind of still learning this stuff. For webtoons, the way they have it is like broken down in episodes, almost like a TV
Yeah.
show. So like an episode, I'm breaking it down into panels because it's a whole vertical format. So it's like you can do some creative stuff if you know what you're doing, and you can look at other
Okay.
webtoons to find examples. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. But
Okay.
yeah, so you gotta I write like, okay, in this panel he's doing this. In this panel, face palm, whatever, facial expression. This panel he's jumping in the air with his sword, slashing. And then for me, I might write, okay, 1 to 3 panels, there's a fight scene. And I'll just kind of, for that, I'll kind of just, as soon as I get to that point where I'm doing a thumbnail for it, then I just start, I draw however many panels it is that I want for the action scenes, things like that. And sometimes in my script process right now, at least, I go over or under like however panels that I said, okay, this is going to be this panel. It's like, no, I need another panel or that doesn't look right. So I'll
Sure.
just right in the middle of drawing it, I'll just edit it on the fly right there. And I guess that might be a very good or easy way of kind of a way of working the process, because you're if you're the writer and the artist, I mean, basically you got to kind of figure this stuff out on your own, at least until
Yeah.
you get enough money to like get an editor, but
Yeah. so
Hire a writer.
I want to steal another one of Frank's questions here. So how do you like the webtoons process creatively? I've read some webtoons and stuff, and I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it as far as like creating a comic book, because instead of reading the panels, left to right and down the page and turn the page, it's all vertical and you're just scrolling down. And I don't know, personally, I just have a hard time wrapping my brain around that, making that a comic book.
yeah, I think the thing is, so are you reading it on the computer or on your phone?
I'm usually reading it on the computer. Maybe I should be
Yeah.
reading it on my phone.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's what caught me the first time when I heard about webtoons. I was on my computer and I was like, man, seems like a pain in the ass to scroll, like
Yeah.
sitting in front of my computer and just keep scrolling just to get to the next panel to read this. But it's a totally different experience when you're on your phone. Like if you're looking on Facebook and you're scrolling through those pictures and images, when you look at webtoons on your phone and you're scrolling, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. And you could go through one episode and like just the same way you consume like a 26-page floppy in your hands. Don't get me wrong though. There's always going to be a place for like a floppy or graphic novels, and some of the webtoon creators actually, when their webtoon gets popular, they actually convert it to print. And I think there's some services that will actually reorganize the panels for you and put them. Yeah, they'll put them in a full page.
Yeah.
You know, so
Like this was a webtoon that was popular, and the creators
Oh, okay.
in its 2 volumes turned it into a comic, and they did this hard cover
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And they sold like limited copy. They made limited copies. They sold some. They had a lot of spare, so they did a an Indiegogo to get rid of the rest. And there's like so much demand that they had to make new ones. And now they're like, well, I guess we can continue the comic because people do want it. So these were webtoons.
Yeah, it
So
surprised me that I used to have the same mindset, and I think it's harder for more old school artists who've actually worked in the industry to get past the idea of giving the webcomic for free online and then actually
yeah,
making money from printing the book later on. But it's been done. It's been done several times by several different creators. They've completely given the webcomic away for free. They did a Kickstarter, reformatted several episodes and put it into pages, put it into a big ass graphic novel.
hmm
They do a Kickstarter, get a whole bunch of graphic novels, and they've already got their audience. So then they got like a crap load of people that are already really interested in the comic, and they didn't have to do any promotion prior to making the comic. So I think it's just like the best way. Like to me, I look at webtoons and I'm thinking, this is the best way to do it. If you want to make comics, this is the best way. And
Yeah,
for me, yeah, I mean that's just kind of that's the way I look at it, at least.
I can see
So
that just because.
you mentioned. Go ahead, Dale. Sir.
Oh, sorry. I'm taking over, Frank.
I know. I'm just gonna drop out on the Dale. Take over.
No. One of the hardest things about being an indie comic creator is getting your work out there so people can hear about it and see it. And I guess webcomics really kind of give you an opportunity to do that and really build up a readership, And I guess these comics that are, starting out as webtoons and then printing afterwards in collections, I mean, they're building up a big enough audience of people that really are into their stories that they're willing. It's like, hey, I already read this, but I care enough about these characters. I care enough about this story that I'm going to purchase the book now. So yeah, in that way, it does make sense. It's starting out as a webtoon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you mentioned episodes. How many episodes equate to like a paragraph or a page or an issue?
Yeah, it depends. See, what I've noticed is the most popular episodes or most popular webtoons tend to have like a crap load of panels. Like the vertical, you'll be scrolling forever if you were just kind of like wanting to see how long it is. But the most popular ones that are featured on webtoons, if you find them and like you subscribe and then you go to the first episode and scroll, you'll see like anywhere from 40 to 50 panels. Like you'll just be scrolling for a good 5 minutes almost.
Oh wow.
But there are some webtoons that'll have anywhere from 20, and I'm gonna have like some very short episodes. But I'm gonna be posting every week, and of course I'm doing all the work too. But they'll have some panels that are anywhere between 20 and 40, and I would say one episode is the equivalent to like I'd say in a month, if you're doing medium size episodes where they're like 20 to 40 panels, I would say if you're doing one episode a week for 4 weeks, that would probably be the equivalent of drawing a 26-page comic, in my opinion. But you got to remember also, though, you're doing the coloring, you're doing the rendering, you're doing the lettering as well. So it might take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And, you got to find shortcuts. And I'm not going to lie, I'm just now learning, okay, I got this shortcut. I'm going to use this photo reference. Fuck it. I'm grabbing a 3D model. I'm popping it in here because I don't know how to draw this angle off the top of my head. I'm just going to save time and I'm going to get it done. And if I was doing something for print or like working for Marvel or something, I would try my best to use photo reference and take a couple minutes to really draw something cool. But webtoons is a little bit different, and they focus a lot less on the the cross hatching and little tiny details and super duper speed lines all over the place like the old school 90s comics. They want more character driven stories where you see the facial expressions and it's very simple coloring, like almost like anime style. And you'll see that a lot on webtoons, and that's kind of that makes it a little bit easier, but still, from what I've noticed, a lot of them expect like a very high standard as far as not a high standard, but a lot of them tend to expect like new creators to have these long ass episodes, just like the biggest creators. But I think that's changing. The more creators that come on the platform that are making stuff for it, so it just depends on what you want to do. But I think you can definitely do the equivalent of one comic per month if you're doing 4 episodes a month. That's just 1 episode a week, 20 to 40 panels. Sorry, that was a long-winded ass answer to your question.
No, that's fine. No, that's good. You got the information that we want to know, because that's something that people keep telling me, or telling people like me and Shy Guy. Oh, just do webtoons, and I was like, oh, why not? Because I still want to do my comic the way I do my comic. I right now I'm doing mini comics, but I want to move on to larger size and larger pages.
I thought you were going to move to even smaller comics.
I'm gonna do like I did. Actually, I did do a micro. I was doing thumbnailing on these, so that's actually how I do my thumbnails. If anyone's wondering, I'll use mini comics as thumbnails, and then I'll just like put it in the computer and enlarge it. And sometimes when I'm just somewhere and I wanna still do something, I'll just take some index cards, fold them, and do like very small, and just use them as thumbnails. So here I have like 20 panels.
Oh wow!
But I mean now, I don't know. I've already been doing it for a while, so I'm kind of like in that groove. So I just want to do a comic anywhere. So don't
get me wrong.
So the way I do my panels, like I do them like a comic book, and so I still want to do those, and then okay, if I want to put this a webtoon, I need to take those panels, I need to cut them up, I need to format them. So but I don't know, maybe if I just do one directly for webtoons.
If you have Clip Studio Paint, they actually you can just click on one thing and it opens a file that says webtoon, and you click on it, boom, it's a long ass vertical. You don't have to do anything with the sizing of the page or anything. You don't have to mess with the image size, none of that. And then you could just start making little squares all over it, and then just go at it. I mean, eventually I'm going to make a video and I'll do a tutorial here, but I want to make sure I have like a solid process down that I can say, okay, this is how I make comics. And if you want to try this, you can do exactly what I'm doing, and I find that even when I've made a lot of tutorials in the past, there's always somebody that says, hey, you can do it this way, right? And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know that. You read the comments. Yeah. Like, okay. And you add something new to your tool belt when it comes to making comics. But by far, and I'm not sponsored, trust me, I tried, but I think Clip Studio Paint is the absolute best for making comics if you're going to do digital. It is the best. It has speed lines, bubbles. I mean, you can easily put in text, and everything can be done so easily in Clip Studio Paint. It's way better than see, my voice is cracking again. It's way better than Photoshop or Medibang or any of those other ones when it comes to making like webtoons.
I'm using Medibang right now, so I took it.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not bad if you're used to it. I'm not going to give you a hard time about it, but you need a switch.
I bought Clip Studio, but like learning for me, okay, I'm used to like using this, and then like, okay, I gotta retrain myself to do another program. So I bought Clip Studio, so I want to start using it. Do you know where I can go find some Clip Studio tutorials for like beginners or anything like that? Do you have anything?
I have a video called Clip Studio Paint for Beginners. It goes from the
Wow.
very basics, from the very beginning. It's literally called Clip Studio Paint for Beginners 2021. I recorded like a 30-minute video from opening the files, using different pens and brushes. Like, yeah, I got a complete video on it. Just go to my channel. You gotta look at the videos, I think, to look for it. But I just made it this month. It's based on the latest release of it, and you'll get the basics. But I don't think I've made a tutorial on how to use the webtoon version. But I mean, if you go in there and click on the file for webcomics, it'll show you different webtoon file sizes. But I mean, it's as easy as just clicking on it, and then you can go from there.
Cool.
Cool.
But don't
Hey,
worry,
and
man.
you
I
can-
got you. I'm gonna make a video, and I'll hook you up with how to do the whole thing.
All right. And that says Clip Studio Paint used to be Manga Studio. Yes, I know that much.
Speaking
So there
of,
is a link to Chris's YouTube channel and to all his stuff. So you want to check out his stuff, there's links in the description below. You can just go to the link tree, get everything there, but there's individual links in the description, even to his Patreon. So if you want to if you want to support him and see the stuff that he's doing, he also has some Clip Studio Paint brushes that you can download for free with the $2 tier.
nice.
Yep.
I guess not free
I
because
ju-
you're paying $2 for it. So.
I just subscribed to your YouTube, Chris. So
Hey.
you're 1,001 followers now.
Woo!
Oh wow, cool.
Speaking of webtoons, our friend Crimson Owl is in the chat, and he just recently launched a webtoon on Tapas. So
Yeah.
he's also venturing out into the world of webtoons. So it seems to be becoming a bigger and bigger thing.
Yeah, I was, I don't know who I was, I think I was chatting with somebody before about webtoons in Tapas. Like they're essentially, the way I look at it, they're kind of like DC versus Marvel in the webcomic space. And and both of them I equate to the YouTube of comics. This is what I've been telling everybody. It's like you can post on it and you can actually monetize your webcomic. I don't think a lot of people know that. Like you can, each platform has a certain set of requirements, just like YouTube. YouTube, you need 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 hours of watch time, or some crazy number. I don't know. It took me a long ass time to get it. But yeah, you need a certain amount of views on your webtoons platform, and then you need a certain amount of subscribers to your actual webtoon. And it's the same thing on Tapas. And Tapas actually, I think it only takes like, I got a video coming up next Friday for how to get ad revenue from Tapas. So I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but I know it has a very low bar for how many subscribers you need. You only need 100. Then you can get approved for ad revenue. Yeah, 100 I think is doable. You just gotta, be consistent. I mean, that's my opinion.
We're still at 60 subscribers here. I'm trying to get to 100.
You'll get there, man. It just takes consistency and then kind of learning from what works and what doesn't. I mean, it's all, like we were talking before we started the stream, like it's all trial and error. For most social media platforms, for me, I find it's all trial and error. Sometimes you get lucky with a video or a post or whatever, and you're like, how the hell did I get all these likes or views? Where'd all this come from?
Yeah. Like you're saying, we're talking about that before the stream, and that was one thing I was gonna ask. So like, the different tricks or different things that hit. So what was it that hit for you for YouTube to get you those
YouTube,
when you start getting more views, more
views and subscribers? Yeah. So it's interesting how YouTube works. Like I got over the past 5 years, and I have roughly 6,000 subscribers right now. But over the past 5 years, I have actually accumulated over 500,000 views, which seems like, whoa, you got a lot of views. But it was
that's a lot.
It was over 5 years. and like it's interesting. Not every view equates to a subscriber, so it's
Yeah.
kind of interesting. But for me, the videos that have gotten me the most subscribers are videos that were. I had this one video called 5 comic art styles, and I took it down because it was mainly like 90s comic book styles, and it was like I'm kind of going away from that with webtoons. So people that were subscribing for the 90s comic book art styles channel video, they were looking for me to create more drawings like Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane and things like that. And I'm like, I'm getting away from that. So I had to take that video down, or else I'm going to have a bunch of dead subs. But the ones that actually got me the most, probably the most subscribers, are the Clip Studio Paint tutorials. I actually had a whole bunch of them. And again, I took some of them down, most of them, except for the Clip Studio for beginners. But those seem to have given me the most views and most subscribers because people want to learn on YouTube as far as art styles go.
Because I went back to look for some of those because I saw you had posted another one on Facebook, like, oh, let me check this out, and like it wasn't there anymore. And it's like I know he has tutorials because he talked about it on another show.
Yeah,
so I figured you took some down. I don't know if you took all of them or not.
Yeah, there's a whole strategy behind that, and I'm definitely killing my views right now because of it. I was averaging roughly, and it was growing. I was getting 14 to 15,000 views a month, it was starting to get up to like 19,000 if I kept making Clip Studio Paint tutorials, because a lot of people were subscribing for that. But then I'm like, wait a minute, my whole strategy has to revolve around the comics that I'm making. At least that's the main reason I started the channel in the first place, and I forgot about that. I was just looking for views and views only, and you kind of mess yourself up when you're doing YouTube. If you're doing YouTube to bring attention to your comics or to have conversations with people about comics, you kind of need to stick to that. If you don't, then you're going to get people subscribing to your channel. You're going to have like 100,000 subscribers, but when you drop a video about comics, it's going to get like 5 views. And you can see that on my latest videos about webtoons. Like I got 6,000 subscribers, but their views are from 50 to 100. And it's going to take me time to kind of transition over to the newer content about webcomics and things like that. And at least I'm hoping that it works the way I'm trying to do it. And I had a strategy that worked from the beginning, but now I'm switching. So it's going to be interesting to see if I can. I'm kind of like, it's almost like starting from a new channel. Like people are going to subscribe now because they want to see what I'm doing with my webtoon and my webcomic. So it's like a whole new strategy, and it's a whole new approach to the way I'm using YouTube. It's not just about tutorials. It's about making webcomics. So
and that's something that I think I heard from other YouTubers, like one artist YouTubers, like one way to get like surefire subs and views is to do tutorials. And I'm like I don't always do tutorials. I mean, I'm barely figuring out stuff. So if I do a tutorial, it'll be once every few months or years, or like it just depends. Like, so it's not gonna be steady. So I don't want to do it. Oh, okay, I'm gonna do a drawing an eye video, get a bunch of views and subs, and then the rest are just me talking about comics or just working on my comic and not really breaking down like, oh, this is how I draw an eye, this is how I draw a leg or something. So unless it's something that I'm gonna be doing, like I know I'm gonna dedicate time to this, at least for this amount of time, there's gonna be tutorials going up because I'm doing studies so I can learn. But like, it's not something I want to just put out to get instant views, because people have been telling me, oh, this will get you views, and these type of videos will get you views, and that will get you views. That's not what I do on the channel. Like it's not.
I think what the misconception on how YouTube works is really a lot of people kind of think that it's like you just make whatever videos you want to make and the subscribers will come. It's people have from my understanding, and this is just from my experience on YouTube, and you know, I've been off and on. When I've made a real good attempt at you know making quality videos with a certain audience in mind, they tend to perform well. And sometimes it takes like a month or two of uploading consistently, like once a week at least. And for me, what I found is when you focus on a certain audience, like they'll find you. Like, okay, so I want people that this is the kind of videos I'm making. This is why I think about it. Like, okay, I want people that read webtoons or web comics tend to also want to be people that want to create them. And even if they don't really read too many, they'll be more than likely willing to read your comic because they want to see if what you're explaining in your videos actually worked. So, you know, it's a win-win either way when you make the type of content for the type of person that's watching your videos. So, like for me, my comic is, let's say, well, I'll tell you right now, like I already told you, it's a supernatural comic about an Aztec warrior. So I'm going to draw things or tutorials around like supernatural, like other supernatural comics or characters. I may do a tutorial on how to format your webtoon, specifically webtoon, not webcomic. I'm going to say webtoon like in the title or something like that. And I'm like, okay, how can you make money with your webtoon? Or this is my experience on webtoons. And like I can make a stream of content like that every month. And in turn, you know, towards the end of the video, I can be like, oh, guess what? I make this webcomic called Warrior of the Dead. If you want to see what I'm doing and if it's working, check out the comic. And then you put the link in the description if they watch the video and then they click on the link. That's a win. You got one person there. You did the advertising. You don't have to depend on any platform to push your to get your readers for you. You got your reader for yourself, and that's why I like YouTube, because you can do that with YouTube. So like for you, you got Captain Goggles, right? And you wear your goggles in your thing, and Captain Goggles is part of your avatar for your comic, and you're making like a mini comic, so you can do a tutorial on how to make mini comics, and you can show mini comics that you purchased in certain videos. You can do reviews on mini comics. Yeah, that's totally cool. Yeah, and like you can make.
I have a series that where I review comics, not just mini comics. And I reviewed mini comics, but other comics too.
Yeah.
And so that's a slow process because I just started those. I call it comics and crossbows because I have crossbows and I want to kind of show off my crossbows, and what my master plan is, maybe a crossbow company or something will see that, hey, that's cool, crossbows are cool, comics are cool, can you review a crossbow? We'll send you one.
A crossbow sponsorship. Hell yeah.
That's your long-term goal, is to get as many free crossbows as you can. That's a good idea.
I'll pay for a couple, and then if it brings in more, like, hey, got a new crossbow sponsored by Crossbows R Us.
You should make a. Do you got a crossbow comic? You should make a crossbow mini comic.
Yeah, I should actually. I do want to add for Captain Goggles and MASKUP. I do want to add that eventually in one of the weapons that they use. Like would be a crossbow. So I have too many issues done, and all my comics are the everything that I've done digital. I'll put it on PDF. So if you go to my Coffee account, there's a link in the description below. Donate like whatever, like $3 or more or whatever. I send you everything I got, so you can read them digitally. So I pretty much. Sometimes I just end up giving them away, giving out those links here. Like, hey man, you want to check out this comic I just did here? You can have this. But I'm turning them into actual physical copies. So what I want to do is eventually put them in a collection. So there's the digital comics you can see, but hey, you want it in print? Yeah, you can buy it, in my store or something.
Oh, that reminds me.
Yeah, but that is something I do want to do, like little more action stories, and that's a couple that I'm working on where they're actually going to be fighting something. So I do want to take out like a little crossbow.
Yeah. He definitely. Now, that actually reminds me of something that I kind of touch on one of my last videos I made about starting an email list. Like, especially if you're doing something for print. Um, so how an email list works is you kind of give away something, and people will if depending on what the giveaway is, they'll send you their email, and you can use different platforms like Mailchimp, SendFox. There's a couple of them out there. But either way, you get their email list, and then once you get your comic in print, you can send them an email directly and say, hey, remember that comic you downloaded and I gave you for free? If you're interested, I have it for sale on this website. You don't have to worry about algorithms or anything like Twitter or wherever the people that are following your stuff. You don't have to worry about them, are just not notifying your followers or subscribers. So, it's that's definitely something you should think about. I actually have an idea for my webtoon. Once I get a little more momentum and followers, which I'm hoping for, but I want to create like a prologue for the comic in webtoon format, and I want to give that away for free on an email list. So it's like, hey, you sign up for my email list. I'll give you the prologue for free. You get to read that and keep it, download it to your phone. You can check it out on your own time. That tells me, this is the thinking behind this, is that tells me, okay, this person likes my comic enough that they're willing to give me their email because of the comic, not for anything else, not for free brushes, not for more YouTube videos, because of the comic. That way I know for sure this person here likes my comic. I can send them, merch that goes on sale. I can send them an email to my Patreon for my Patreon. I can send them anything related to my comic. So, I mean, I think this is something that's kind of overlooked by a lot of comic creators. So, like, an email list would be really awesome, but make it focused around, everything needs to be focused around your brand and your comic. And that's kind of my whole thinking for YouTube. And I got more work to do on Instagram and Twitter and all that. But, for me, I'm like, my mind has to go like, I can only do so much at one time because I've messed up trying to do everything. So I'm like, okay, YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Webtoons. YouTube Webtoons. That's it for now. May occasionally do TikTok because I know TikTok is blowing up right now. It's really big.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to understand how to make TikTok videos. I've made a few just goofy ass videos of my cat. But it has nothing to do with comics. So I'm like, man, I can't keep posting stuff like that. So still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I got a TikTok where like man, just keeping up with it and like like whatever. I focus so much time on YouTube and Instagram. It's like
yeah,
I've done that. I'll take some of my drawing videos and I'll just like condense them, speed them up, and cut them up and put them up there. But that's like also extra editing. I was like.
Yeah,
but sometimes they do good, sometimes they don't. But
yeah, I'm way better at YouTube than I am at TikTok. I don't. It's just my daughter taught me something. My daughter, of all people, she taught me something that was really cool that actually worked. She's like, Dad, just put whatever the trending song is on it. It doesn't matter what it is, and just draw something. And I was like, man, that's not how it works. And then I put up a Batman speed paint of me just inking something. I was just inking David Finch's Batman, and I got like 600 views and like 100 likes. And I was like, what? I put other stuff up on TikTok that did like 100 views, 20 views. Like that one had over 600 and a whole bunch of likes. I'm like, there is something with the trend with the music that I don't.
Yeah.
And they push it. Whenever there's a trending song on TikTok, the algorithm kind of like pushes us out and puts it on people's. They call it the For You page. I don't know. I'm still kind of learning things on TikTok. I'm not going to claim to understand it that well. So
speaking of cats, a cat just passed by now.
Yeah, my cat's been bothering me.
So you mentioned your character warrior of the day. Now, when I first saw it and and so I thought it was like a Day of the Dead type of character. So
Yeah.
and that's what I was telling Dale and I was telling Anna, and Anna was like, I don't know anything about Day of the Dead, but I got stuff to do. Like, okay, maybe I just been saying promoting it wrong.
No. So
It has that look, that style.
no. It definitely has. Okay, so the way I want to explain this is not. I'm not going to say it's directly related to Day of the Dead, but the main character gets his powers on Day of the Dead, and that's a part of. That's just a part of the story, but that's not the main element. The main.
That's what I was thinking. It was just a part of it.
Yeah, it's more of a piece to add to it. I needed a reason to put a skull on his face. That was really the only reason. I was like, this would look cool if I made him like a skull and big old crazy eyes, and I know he's an Aztec warrior, but I want to make him scary and supernatural and crazy looking. I was like, okay, wait, but what if I do it that he gets his powers on Day of the Dead, and all of a sudden he got his face paint?
And that's what.
And I know there's other character design ways I could have done it to make a cool like Aztec warrior, but I thought just like a skull face is just scary. It's like creepy looking, and like given the premise of the story and it's supernatural, I was like, I got to go with this crazy skull face. So that's kind of like why I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta add this element of Dia de los Muertos, and plus it's a part of Latin culture in general. I mean, Mexican culture, and that's why it's called Warrior of the Dead, because he gets his powers on Dia de Muerto, and there's an Aztec god that kind of ties into how he gets his powers. That's a god of the underworld.
Yeah,
and I have notes on the names are so hard to pronounce because I barely, man, I'm not even that fluent in Spanish. I do know some. I know a good amount. I understand mostly, but I can't speak it that well. Like, and much less these long ass words in Spanish, like Tepitilan and La Michoacan, and like these really long ass like words for the gods of Aztec warriors and stuff. But they are like so cool and interesting when you look at like the stories of the Aztec gods, and the when you learn about the history of the Aztec warriors, the jaguars and things like that. They're just like so interesting how they conquered different areas. It just became this huge ass empire in Mexico. So I mean, a lot of my story is going to be rooted in the supernatural elements of that, and I kind of get excited when
the mythology part sounds like the most intriguing stuff to me, because I don't really know a lot about Aztec mythology. So yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool and crazy stuff about how the gods created the stories of how the gods created the earth in the mythology, and they went to war and with each other, and then seeds grew up from the land, and there's just so many stories that I can't. Like, they're all in my head, and I just need to make a few more notes, because for right now, the first story arc of my comic is going to be focused more in reality, and that's probably going to be a good, like, 20 to 30 episodes, and then the next 20 to 30 episodes or more is going to be completely, like, all in the supernatural realm, tying in a lot more of the backstory and more of the great gods. And it's going to take a little more time to do the script for that, but that part I'm really excited for. So the first round is going to be more or less, that's that word.
Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Like I'm not gonna even attempt to say it because I was thinking about that word too. Like, it's a hard word, even for. I do speak Spanish. I don't speak fluent, but I do speak Spanish. I speak Tex-Mex. So
that's
copy Spanish. So I'm not even gonna try. And speaking of Latino creators, there's a few Latino creators, and some I'm just like barely learning. last time you were on the Artcast and you had mentioned your character, and Josh said, "Oh, that sounds like Javier Hernandez, El Muerto." And so I checked out his book, and I have it here, and like it's
Days
different
of the Dead.
from it's different from your character, but it has like similar skull and
Yeah, the whole face
which
paint
you
with
can
the
get
skull.
on Amazon.
Yeah. I've actually there's an actual movie based on it or something
Yeah.
like it. I'm almost positive there's a movie on it.
Yeah,
And,
there is. It's actually mentioned here in this book. He has some cool behind the scenes stuff. So he has here it is. They made an independent film of it, and that's the guy that played El Muerto.
Yeah, it was that guy from that '70s show.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, the foreigner,
Fez.
Yeah,
Fez. Yes,
Fez.
Fez. He
Remember
played
his real name.
the character.
He's
Yeah, I knew I
Handy
remembered
Man,
it. Yeah.
So there they are.
Am I wrong? I thought it was Fez. Or maybe not.
I know he mentioned the guy, so I don't know if it's Fez plays the guy. Or...
I'm probably remembering it wrong. I thought it was Fez. Crap.
It might be in here. I don't know, but that'll be
I
when
was
he's
looking
on.
different guy. That did not look like Fez. I was wrong. My bad. I might be thinking of another movie then. Shit.
Well, I know he mentioned meeting Fez.
Really?
The actor. But it might have been something else. Might have been just someone he met because of the comics and networking. Because I know he does other stuff, and he started an expo, La Comics Expo, I think. So might have been in there from there somewhere. But
Man, that is one thing I really want to do, man. I really want to like go to like a con. I've never been to a con. I've never had a table. I've had one or two people try to back out of splitting a table with me at one point or another, and I just never got around to it. Yeah. Aztec and Miss American. Yeah, they are very hard to say.
Yes.
Very, very much.
Yeah, Judd, don't act like you know more than us, Judd.
I slaughter the words every time I try to. That's why I always say it's the Aztec sword. I don't try to pronounce the sword itself. It starts with an M. I know that, and I actually looked it up. And you can look up how to pronounce things on Google if you kind of look it up. But I'm like, I'm not gonna remember that, man. Shit. It's just a cool comic, dude. Check it out. It'll be awesome. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Swords
you
and
can.
buckets.
It'll be on webtoons for like by July, like mid-July.
Early July. I want to say early July or late June. Like I'm almost done. So the goal is to have like a buffer, like a one whole month of. Yes, that is it. That's the start. I'm not trying to pronounce that, man. I'm not even gonna try that.
I'm not gonna insult my Hispanic roots.
I know, right? The best I could be like, dame un torta sin cebolla. I mean that's my Tex-Mex Mexican Spanish, and tortas.
Like, I know enough Spanish, but like there's the words like that, like not even gonna.
No, hell no. I think most Mexicans or Latinos probably would have a hard time with that too. Yeah, we're not the only ones. What projects are you working on, man?
Let's see. I'm doing the mini comic, so I got. Let me see. I showed it last time. So this one I started. This one is just about Masked Woman, but it takes place right before, like a few months before she meets Captain Goggles in the story. So
Is that an egg on the front?
Yeah.
Does she hatch from an egg? Is that Anna's secret?
I'm trying to show you here.
Okay.
She finds a dinosaur egg and she hatches it, and it becomes like her pet.
Oh, wow.
This is where she's like taking care of it. And So yeah, so like our story, it has I won't reveal too much because I haven't like said a lot of it, but like there's a sci-fi elements. You know, there a little bit of kind of like X-Men type of thing. It's like there's like an academy or an agency, so like people are being trained and then like they go off on missions. So it's something like that. So right now I'm focusing on Captain Goggles and Masked Woman. But once I get that storyline done, I want to do a bigger story with them, and then after that, you know, I might just focus on other characters or other worlds, or even you know have someone like, hey, Shaggy, if you want to do a story in this world, you know, go ahead, you know, you can. So like something kind of like branch off that it'll be in that world, but like not necessarily just those characters. So.
Yeah, in the
But,
Captain
but
Goggles universe.
yeah, but we set up a premise that you could go to, like you could have adventures like almost any issue. Right now, it's just getting to that premise.
Yeah, I mean, you can always do the I don't know what, like Elseworlds or What If type of
Yeah,
version of your comic. I mean, it's your characters and stuff. You can do, you know, pretty much anything if you're creative
yeah,
enough to, you know. do
yeah, and
something.
then there is aspects of that, and so I can tell you after the show. I don't trust Judd. I'm just kidding, Judd.
Judd has left the stream. I don't know why.
There's only one viewer now. Judd
It's
is actually
okay.
one of our regulars. Him and Shy Guy have been here from almost the beginning. I think Shy Guy has been like watching the show from the first iteration of the show, right, Shy Guy?
I logged in and then I flipped to another tab, so I don't know if that counts, but
Yeah.
no, I've been here since the beginning.
You know, one thing I found is that when you're first starting out, especially when you're live streaming, a lot of times you'll end up with like 50 to 100 more views like after you've streamed. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You might be streaming to like one or two people that'll pop in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
streaming's like a whole nother different thing than posting YouTube videos.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily get subscribers, but the people that are subscribed will eventually catch it. And if you stream at the right time and if you do it consistently, then you'll start getting more views on your live streams. It's all you know, it's all a little bit different depending. Yeah, and I'll repost this later on my community tab. I'll send some.
Cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
Cool. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
they'll come. Like I did that when I did my interview with CircWorks. I always post if I do an interview or anything or chat with anybody on their channel. I always post it on mine. It always sends a couple more people that way, and you know, if they like it, they'll subscribe.
Yeah, I know on this channel because this is on a separate channel, the TuracoCreativeCast. So we just do the Turaco and Turaco related stuff on here. So on
that's
this one, it's like 60 subs. On my channel, it's like 250. So it's growing. That was like a couple of years of doing that. So it's been growing. So like, but yeah, I know like just getting subs. Like when we do this, like like right now, I'm 3 viewers. Later they'll probably have like 20 to 30 views. There's some that have more. Some have 100. So I'm just trying to find that sweet spot so they can all have 100 views.
Hey, check my last live stream, man. I got 6,000 subscribers. My last live stream has a little over 100 views. So like live streaming is a totally different thing. You have to do it more consistently. It's less about trying to make a video that gets views and uploading a video. It works differently in the algorithm. It's mainly for the subscribers that you currently have. And like a good 4,000 of my subscribers or so either want Clip Studio Paint or they want 90s comic book art. And I'm not doing either of those things in my live stream. My last live stream was Webtoon Wednesdays.
Yeah, I was on that one. Actually, that's when I asked you to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's just when you were hanging out. So it's like, okay, and only a good probably like maybe 1,000 of them are actually like will be cool with no matter what I make. And that's that. It goes to that. There's something I learned about like a year or two ago. It's called the 1,000 True Fans, and I wouldn't say they're like true fans. It depends on how you want to define that term. But basically, the idea is that in order to make a living as a creative person trying to make a living off of your creativity, whether it's art or music or whatever, you have to have 1,000 true fans. And those 1,000 true fans will buy pretty much anything you put out. They'll either buy shirt, music, comics, merch, or whatever, you know. And that's what the goal is typically whenever you're trying to grow on social media, doing the blog, making music, YouTube videos, comics, whatever. Your goal should always to be able to reach the true fans. I probably have, in general, from talking to people in general, for me, I think I probably got anywhere from, I'd say roughly maybe 20 true fans that will actually buy stuff from me and,
cool.
and do things like that, which I think is really cool. And I don't take that for granted. But the thing is, all my other subscribers, which I understand, they're mainly there for the free Clip Studio Paint tutorials and to learn stuff. But, all that kind of stuff, it takes time. You got to really connect with your audience. And, once you start from that place, then, from my understanding, good things will happen. But I'm still kind of learning all that stuff myself. So, yeah.
Yeah. On my channel, I've gone like a consistency. Like, I know there's going to be 2 or 3 people that are always going to comment, are always going to check it out. Judd's one of them.
That's the way it starts. That's the way it starts. That's the way it started for me. Like, seriously.
So I'll get feedback from them. Like, sometimes I'll ask questions, and sometimes I am asking like directly to them because I know they're the ones watching, so they're the ones that are more likely to, say something that I can use or. So like, oh, cool. So
and
you're a true fan, Judd. You're a true believer.
Give it a thumbs up, true believer.
All right. So we are at the hour mark. We usually end at the hour mark, but if you don't mind going just a little bit long, because I wanted to ask, and it shouldn't take long, but I wanted to ask because you did a switch. You talked about it. You used to do 90s, and now you're doing more webtoon style. You're doing more of an anime style. So I want to ask, like, how did that come about? Like, how did you decide? Hey, I'm gonna do anime.
Yeah. So for me, like, I might be telling my age here for a second because most of the time people look at me and think, "Oh, you don't look that old." But
he's 70.
Yeah, I'm a vampire. I'm actually 2,000 years old. When I was younger, I collected the 90s comic books, and when I was like 12 or 13, like I first picked up the Spider-Man #1 by Todd McFarlane, and from there, I loved comics. I was just a huge comic book fan. I picked up X-Men #1 by Jim Lee, and up until like a couple years ago, I didn't know how. It's before social media got as big as it is now. Like I said, I've been on YouTube for like 5 years, and it's like, within the span of these last 5 years, social media has just been the way people connect, almost solely the way people connect across the world. And when I was younger, the only way you could, break into comics was like, making something on an 11x17 piece of paper, drawing a whole bunch of them and sending them to editors from Marvel and DC. And like, I didn't see that, I didn't know or understand how to do that. So then I started my channel. I was like, oh, hey, maybe there's a way I can use YouTube to grow an audience so I can make comics and then sell comics to them. Because I saw Mark Crilly doing it. And I thought to myself, if he could do it, I can do it. That was like one of the OG art YouTubers back in the day, at least when I noticed. Yeah. And after that, I started doing 90s comic book style, and I had a lot of tough times, and I got sick, and it just it became like, you know what? I had done a couple video live streams where I was like, hey, anybody want a free piece of digital art? Here, I'll draw one for you. Time and time again, I kept being asked to draw like Vegeta and Naruto and like these anime characters, and I haven't really talked about it too much on my channel, but I was like, I've always been a huge fan of anime and manga. Like I had volume 1 of Akira. Like it's a thick ass or it's an omnibus or something like that. I don't know where it's at exactly, but I had that. Full Metal Alchemist. I have the whole DVD collection of Bleach, and I've been into anime and manga for a long time. I just never really talked much about it because at my age, I guess I thought,
shame.
yeah, and it's interesting because people kept asking me to draw like anime characters, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, draw this person, draw Berserk, and I was like, oh yeah, I know Berserk, that's a cool ass character, I need a photo reference, and then I would draw it in a live stream. And then when you read the most popular webcomics on webtoons, they're all pretty much in a very, you would call it a manga or anime style. I mean, however you want to use it, but I think most people don't realize that manga actually means comics in Japanese.
Yeah.
And even weirder than that, the Webtoons is a Korean company. I don't think a lot of people know that. And the comics that are most popular are actually Korean comics. And the styles from Korean and manga, Korean, they call it manhwa. So you could literally call it a manhwa style if you want. But it's another word for Korean comics. So the most popular ones are very similar in style, and they're just like Japanese or Korean comics. They're very similar styles. Those are the ones that are most popular. I've been asked to do it, and people seem to like the art that I've made in that style. So from there, I connected the dots and saying, like, why the hell not? I don't have a problem doing it. I haven't got any feedback of anyone saying, your anime art style sucks. If somebody would have said that, I'd have been like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. But, like, people seem pretty cool with it. And I was like, well, shit. I don't know why in my head I thought no one would like that. But, well, and one thing, too, for Webtoons, I've watched a couple other YouTube experienced webtoon creators. They always say that things that you probably shouldn't do is make a complicated art style, because you're going to be posting once a week. So you want to make it, you don't want to make it super hyper detailed or hyper realistic, or else you're going to be spending forever just to post one episode. Even if it's really good, you know, you're going to have a hard time growing an audience because you're not being consistent.
Yeah.
So it's like all that added up together, and I took a long time thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change my style. I don't care. I'm gonna change it. That's it. So that's kind of how I came to that. And I know I'm sorry. I know I have these long-winded stories about how I go from point A to point B. I hope that's not.
No, this has been very
it's
informative.
fine.
I've
It's
liked
good.
it.
Okay.
I wanted to show, this was my very first comic, which got me into doing more comics. Actually, it's my first comic published. My very first comic is a little mini comic about Starch, which I sent Dale one. We did this in the AAA creators group. There was just a bunch of guys that wanted to do comics, and someone said, hey, let's do an anthology. We'll put it all together. And so I was able to get published, and from here I've just been doing more stuff.
That's so cool, man. You're on the grind. You're already published. I haven't even published anything.
Well, you can be published. You just got to join the right Discord.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, it's all self-publishing on demand. Yeah. And that's even with these mini comics, like even when I made my first one, I technically was published, I was self-published, and I made copies and I gave them out. Actually, my first one, I made money off it. I think I made $20 off it because
Oh wow.
I was giving them away for a buck. And I'm just giving away, and someone just gave me a gift card of $20. Here's $20 to HEB. Like, great, I made $20. I'm going to HEB and buy groceries. So my first
There
comic
you
bought
go.
me groceries.
Hell yeah. Buy some tacos. It's all
Yeah.
good, man. That's what I would have bought. Shit.
But yeah, like like, hey man, like however you can do it. So like, if Webtoons is working, that might be something I might actually even try. I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, and I do want to make it very clear that there is definitely still an audience for people that if all you have is a pencil and paper and ink, and you don't have all the digital tools to create digital comics on platforms like Webtoons or Topless, there is absolutely 100% a market to create like mini comics, graphic novels, even if it's just for fun, just getting started and understanding how to create a story. I absolutely think that is 100% a good route you can go when starting your comic or making comics in general. Like, I mean, you're telling stories, and that's the funnest part about it. And if you want to tell your stories by drawing on a sheet of computer paper with a pen and some crayons, hell, go ahead and do it. It's a comic, and then put it in print, get a collection, do some self-publishing, print on demand or whatever. There's ways you can do that. I mean, it's all good, man. Just as long as you're creating comics and telling stories. That's my opinion.
And speaking of manga, I've been doing a manga, anime, manhwa, so whatever you want to call it. I've been doing a little bit more. So like, this is my attempt at a manga style.
Oh, that's cool.
This I did this as a one shot. This is 4 pages. I just did this as a one off. But this character, you might know, you might see some similarities, but it is very much based on El Chapulín Colorado, which I don't know if you watched it as a kid. Chespirito.
Chespirito. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what yeah, I see it now. Okay. Yes.
I just added
oh man. It's an old school, real cheesy sketch comedy Mexican TV show that was on the Spanish channel. It was really hilarious. Like, it was even I didn't completely understand everything, but like, golly, it was so like cheesy and corny, but it was so good. Oh man, that's pretty cool, man. I like that.
Yeah, it even ends with a cheesy joke, because I did it like that for a reason. I did like a little homage to that character.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
But yeah, we have gone over an hour and 18 minutes. I think this is a good time to wrap it up. Del, where can we find your stuff?
Start by going to my website, the-installation.com, and you can sign up for my mailing list there, or
cool.
Look at my art on Imager, or you can find me on the AAA Discord.
And there is a link in the description below to the AAA Discord if you want to join up. And Chris, where can we find your cool comic?
So it will be coming on Webtoons. My goal is to post by, I got a little calendar here, I'm gonna look. My goal is actually by July 1st. I want to post every Thursday. So by July 1st, and you know what? I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna have 3 episodes uploaded to Webtoons on July 1st. This is gonna put a fire under my ass to get it done. Like, I'm gonna be working like constantly these next 2 weeks on the comic. So by July 1st, Warrior of the Dead will be on Webtoons, and you can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, everywhere, TikTok, on the different social medias. It's always Comics with Chris, just the way it's spelled. The only place that it's spelled different is on Patreon, where it's comics with an X. Other than that, Comics with Chris, you can do a Google search. You'll find me everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right. And my usual co-host couldn't be here, but if you want to know of her stuff, she has a link tree there. You can check out her YouTube channel, Anna Raub, her Instagram, Anna Raub Arts. And she does have a Teespring store, so you can buy a cool shirt or a mug with one of her designs. And if you want to find my stuff, you can find me also on my link tree, Salazar Art Nation. I'm Salazar Art Nation on Instagram, on YouTube. I think on Facebook, I'm just like it's just my name, Frank Salazar. And on Twitter, it's Nation Salazar. Mostly, I just post like links there and maybe sometimes some art. But I usually post on Instagram and YouTube the most. And I just kind of talk with other creators on Facebook. So if you want to talk with me there, you can go check it out. And if you want to support what I do, you can go to my Coffee account, Salazar Nation Designs, and donate for any amount, and I will send you some PDF comics. And I'm actually gonna be doing some of the ones that I'm doing now, the Masked Woman and Captain Goggles, the second and third issue coming out. I will be putting those up. So if you don't have those and you want to buy those specifically, just let me know. Just send money there, and I will send them out to you as soon as they are up. And thanks for everyone in the chats. We had Ronnie Gunter joining us. We have Judd Goswick, Dale A is here, and who else do we have? I think that was it. That we saw.
That talked in there at least, yeah.
Yeah, that talked. So the other person that's just listening, hey, good to have you. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment after the show is over. Let us know what you thought, and we'll catch you next time. Same Turaco time, same Turaco channel. Oh, I might be streaming Saturday a special Turaco stream because Saturday is my birthday, so I want to spend it with you guys. So I'll probably draw on there, or I might even take a request and just draw something quickly. So if you want to check that out, it'll be Saturday. I'm not sure what time. Might be 7 p.m. Central, or maybe a little later, but we'll see. And thanks everyone, and we'll see you next time. And just end.